How's it going, everyone? It's Gavin from Balls to You, and I want to do this video on bloodlines. Bloodlines. Why are bloodlines so important when it comes down to breeding snakes? Let's use dogs as an example. When you buy a dog, the first thing you want to do is look at the pedigree. You want to look at the bloodline of the family tree. Is the mom got any champions? Has the dad got any champions? All that sort of stuff. That basically what you're looking for, so that the animal you're buying is going to be of a good bloodline. This is something that we tend to overlook on reptiles, in particularly ball pythons, and the reason for that is because we are too busy looking at the morph rather than the actual snake itself. And this sort of falls in nicely with when I say to you guys, first of all, buy with your eyes, not with a price tag, and second of all, make sure you buy from a reputable breeder regarding breeding for quality. So when you buy from a breeder, you want to be buying from someone who knows where that animal has came from, even the parents have came from, which particular, if they brought the parents from another breeder, basically, so you want to be able to track that bloodline. And the reason for that, and I hear you shouting, why should we be bothered with bloodlines? Well, it's important. It's actually as important as mutations are regarding genetic defects. So let's take, for example, a caramel. We know caramel's kink, and unfortunately the kinking is attached to the gene. So unless you've got het caramels, unfortunately, if you do try to produce a visual caramel, the chances are very high for you to produce a kinked animal. So the kinking is actually attached to the gene that's making the morph, or making the sort of mutation look completely different. A bloodline defect is equally as important, because what you're looking for is or trying to stay away from, is a weak bloodline. And there's a few mutations out there, which do carry weaker lines. The reason why we go for good and strong and healthy bloodlines is because you want to limit the opportunity of you actually getting an animal with a defect. So let's look at super lessers or super butters. If you breed a lesser to a lesser, you will hit that bell, that blue-eyed Lucy, beautiful white snake that we all know and love. However, what I have seen is when you do breed a lesser to a lesser or a butter to a butter, you can actually get a high chance of getting animals with bug eyes. So what you tend to find is when you breed a lesser to a lesser, you do stand a higher chance of hitting a white snake with big eyes or with bug eyes. Okay, you don't get it. I've never had it when I cross a Mojave to a lesser. I've done that numerous times and I've never had any problems with bug eyes. A Mojave to a Mojave, you don't tend to get that issue. It just seems to be, for some reason, butter to butter or lesser to lesser, you stand a high chance of getting that particular animal with that particular defect. So that's why occasionally, or I try not to do a lesser to a lesser breeding, okay, and that's just something I've just practiced within myself. So I try not to do that crossover where I'll join a lesser to a lesser or a butter to a butter. So let's talk about stuff like, so we've talked about super lessers, let's talk about super cinnamons, super black pastels. As we know, super cinnamons, super black pastels can create a issue regarding kink babies. So how do we avoid that? A couple of years ago I had a cinnamon line, and the cinnamon line just didn't do well for me. So long story short, I sold that female as a pet. Pretty much every clutch I had from her tended to be, sort of problem animals. So I just sold her as a pet. I made them clear never to breed from this girl, because obviously the offspring weren't viable. And again, what I'm trying to do is breed for the best of the best, if that makes sense. So the cinnamon line that I've got now is banging. She produced for me for the first time last year, and she's absolutely amazing. The offspring is crazy beautiful. So what I'm trying to get across to you guys again is you've got to look at the bloodlines. So with that in mind, like I said, if you take a black pastel and you breed it to another black pastel, if you've got two weak lines and you're breeding them together, let's just put it like this, you're going to raise your chances through the roof of producing king babies. If the standard animals, or the standard morph, like a standard black pastel or a standard cinnamon, as opposed to the super cinnamons, are coming out kinked, then for me, them lines, or that line that you're potentially using, are of weak lines. So what would I do to make that stronger? The first thing I would do is probably re-engineer the gene, and this sounds a bit complicated, but it's quite straightforward. So I've got a female that came from Africa. She is how heavy is she? She's about 4.5 kilos. Okay, she's 4.5 kilos. She was born in 2003, captive hatched female from Africa. She is my matriarch female, let's say. So she's a giant. She is absolutely massive. In fact, let's get her. By magic, this is Sugar. Okay, this is her name. She is 2003 captive hatched female. She is nowhere near fat. In fact, she's got plenty of loose skin. She doesn't feed that much, and she's still 4.5 kilos. Genetically, she is absolutely, I mean, it's very hard to tell on camera, guys, but she's absolutely massive. Her head is huge. I'm not sure if you're getting this, but she's a big girl. Genetically, she's a big girl. Every offspring that I have from her tends to be of the bigger proportion, so the hatchlings tend to come out that little bit heavier. They always thrive very, very well. So the first thing I would do, if I had a black pastel line or a cinnamon line that I felt needed re-engineering, and that means just trying to make the genes stronger, the first thing I would do is I would use a girl like Sugar to basically breed the black pastel or the cinnamon to her to produce stronger offspring. That's been proven time and time again. Again, like I said, she just produces some absolutely massive babies, and genetically she's just a giant. She's not fat, she's not overweight, she's just genetically big. Okay, she's absolutely stunning. She's my favourite. If I had to get rid of everything, she's the one I'd keep. She's just absolutely amazing. So what I'm trying to get across to you guys is this girl, for me, is worth her weight in gold, not only as a pet and education purposes, obviously showing people, and again showing the kids, and as I said, education, but when I want a strong bloodline, or to make a strong bloodline, this is the girl that I use, because she's absolutely, like I said, phenomenal. So I hope this makes sense. I hope you guys, I know I ramble on and I'm sorry about this, but I'm so passionate. I want you guys to obviously get everything that you can, you know, make sure you get everything, you learn everything that you can from me, again, from my mistakes. Okay, and like I said, it is one of those things that I do believe we do not look at regarding ball pythons. Other species, it is important, obviously when you're dealing with stuff like with retics and dwarfism and all that sort of stuff, and obviously jags and coastal and all that sort of stuff. Bloodlines are important. With ball pythons, we tend to overlook it because we're too busy looking at the morph as opposed to looking at the actual bloodline as well as. So I'll leave that with you. Obviously, if you've got any comments, put them in the comment box below. Please like, share and subscribe. Hit that notification button, because there's plenty more videos coming, guys, and you guys know I like to educate and help, you know, people move forward. And yeah, and hope you're all okay. Take care, and I'll speak to you guys soon.